The rules of indices are key. They are supposed to be at your fingertips because we use them when we are interpreting numbers in our calculations. We apply them in our calculations. The first one is when this a to the power m, you multiply it by a to the power n. When two indices are having the same base but with different powers, we simply maintain that base and add the powers. In this case, if it's like 4 to the power 3 times 4 to the power 2, it will be 4 to the power 2 plus 3. As simple as that. If it is division of indices, it is we are dividing indices of the same base. We maintain that base and we subtract the powers. In this case, it will be m minus n. Then, if we are having an indice a to the power m and it's in brackets to the power n, it is as simple as saying a to the power m n. It means that the two powers are going to multiply out each other. M and n will be mn. For example, if you're having like 5 to the power 2 in brackets 3, it's the same as saying 5 to the power 2 times 3. That is what this arrangement means. So now we have the negative index. The negative index is when you're having an index, a number to the power, a negative term. This is the same as saying 1 over a to the power that power. For example, if we are having 2 to the power negative 3, it's the same as saying 1 over 2 to the power 3. As simple as that. Then we have the zero index. Any number to the power 0 is 1. Any number, whether it's 1,000 or 10 million, to the power 0 is always equal to 1. And any number to the power 1 is always equal to that number itself. Then we have the fractional index. The fractional index, a to the power m over n, is the same as saying that is going to be the root of that denominator n to the power the numerator. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're having 2 to the power a half. 2 to the power a half is the same as saying, now 2 in the denominator means it's the square root. Of course, you do not put the 2 there, but it means the square root of 2. But the square root of 2 is to the power 1. Or if it is 3 to the power 2/3, this is the same as saying the denominator is 3, so it is the third root. It is the third root of 3. It's the third root of 3, and all this is to the power 2. Let me give you just one more random example. If you're having like 34 to the power 6 over 8, this is going to mean it's now the 8th root. It's the 8th root of 34, but all this is to the power 6. Like that. That is how we deal with the fractional indices or the fractional index. Now, these rules of indices that we have just explored are key in all the numbers we shall explore, in all the calculations that you will encounter that include indices. They will require you to apply these laws. So it is always wise to have those laws at your fingertips, to always have those laws at heart. So we shall do our first example. Our first example, simplify Roman 1, 8 over 27, all that is to the power negative a third. So we'll grow. Roman 1 is 8 over 27, all that is to the power negative a third. Remember, this is the same as saying it is the third root of this whole thing, so it's going to be under the third root of 8 over 27, and it is going to be to the power, all this is going to be to the power negative 1. As simple as that. So the third root, this is the same as saying the third root of 8 over the third root of 27 all this is to the power -1. We are simply applying the rules we just explored before to calculate that number effectively. So this is going to be, now what's the third root of 8? Now the third root of 8 is just 2, but let's try and calculate, let's try and find out how it is gotten. So we shall do some side work here. 8, prime factorizing 8 by 2, you get 4, by 2, we get 2. So after getting the 2's, we group them into 3 since we are looking for the third root. So there are 3 2's and we just pick out 1 2. That's how we get the third root of 8. So the third root of 8 in that case is going to become 2 over, now let's first find the third root of 27. We'll prime factorize 27 by 3. We have 9 by 3. We have 3. So when we group them into groups of 3, these factors into groups of 3, and we just choose out 1, that means that the third root of 3 is 3. So it's going to be 2 over 3. All this is going to be to the power -1. But we said that any number to the power a negative index, remember we said, will give you the reciprocal of this. So it means that remove that negative is going to simply be 3 over 2 to the power 1. And that is the answer to Roman 1. Let's go and do Roman 2. And now our task is to simplify that number. So we start the working. So this is the same as saying 6 to the power half n, multiply that by 12 to the power n plus 1, multiply that by 27 to the power half n, divide all that by, because it's divided by 32, so it's divided by 32 to the power half n. After breaking it down like that, so now we find the prime factors of this. We prime factorize these digits because they are big, and we obtain small digits. So for 6, if we say 6, it's by 2, we get 3. That is 6. This is side work, right? So 12 by 2, we have 6. By 2, we have 3. That is 12. Then for 27, we have by 3, 9 by 3, it is 3, like that. Then for 32, we have by 2, we have 16. By 2, we have 8. By 2, we have 2. Is it? No, we have 4. By 2, we have 2. So it means here that after finding these prime factors of these numbers, the value of 6 here is the same as 2 to the power 1 times 3 to the power 1. So this is going to become, here in brackets, it's going to be 2 to the power 1 times 3 to the power 1, all this to the power half n, multiply that by 12. What is 12? It is 1 to 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 2 times 3 to the power 1, all that is to the power n plus 1. Multiply that by 27. What is 27? 27 is 1, 2, 3, 3 to the power 3. So it is 3 to the power 3, all that is to the power negative half n. Divide all that by 32 to the power half n. What is 32? 32 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 2 to the power 5. So it's going to be 2 to the power 5. All that, put it in brackets, to the power half n. So we continue with our simplification. This becomes, this half n is the same as half times 1, half times 1. So it's going to be 2 to the power half n times 3 to the power half n. That is going to be times 2 times 2n plus 1. So this is going to be times 2 to the power 2n plus 2 times 3 to the power n plus 1, because 1 times that is n plus 1, n plus 1 times 3 to the power, now this is 3 times all that, so it's going to become negative 3 over 2n. So it's going to become 3 to the power negative 3 over 2n. Divide all that by 2 to the power 5 times that is going to be 5 over 2n. 5 over 2n, like that. So we continue with our simplification. We collect the 2's, the ones that are having the same bases together, the ones that are having the same bases together. So this is simply going to become 2 to the power half n times 2 to the power 2n plus 2 times 3 to the power a half n times 3 to the power n plus 1 times 3 to the power negative 3 over 2n. All that divided by 2 to the power 5 over 2n. So using the laws of indices, this is 2 times 2. The base is the same, so what we do when we are multiplying, we add the powers. So this is going to become 2 to the power a half n plus 2n plus 2, that is times 3. This is the same base, so we are going to maintain the 3 and add all the powers. And when we add all the powers, it's going to give us a half n plus 1 plus negative 3 over 2, so it's going to be minus 3 over 2n. Divide all that by 2 to the power 5 over 2n. So we find here that it's going to be 2 divide 2 to the power something divided by 2 to the power something. You're dividing two indices with the same base, so what do we do to the powers? We subtract the powers. Yep. So this is going to become 2 to the power, now a half n plus 2n is simply 2 and a half n, which is 5 over 2n plus 2 minus this one, minus 5 over 2n, multiply that by 3 to the power a half n plus n is going to be 1 and a half n, which is 3 over 2n. 3 over 2n minus 3 over 2n is simply going to give you 0, and you remain with 3 to the power 1 there. So here you're going to remain with 2 to the power 5 over 2n minus 5 over 2n will give you 0, so you have 2 to the power 2 here, so it's going to be 2 to the power 2 times 3 to the power 1. 2 to the power 2 is going to be 4. 4 times 3 will be 12. So the answer to that is going to simply be 12, and that will be our answer for that question. Roman 1, they're asking us to simplify that number to the simplest terms as possible. So we shall begin. Our Roman 1 is going to be x to the power 3n plus 1 over x to the power 2n plus 2.5. Multiply that by, now the square root of x is the same as saying x to the power half. So this is the same as saying x to the power a half times 2n minus 3. So we continue. So that will be equal to x to the power 3n plus 1. Divide all that by x to the power 2n plus that is 5 over 2. Multiply that by x to the power, now that is a half times 2n is going to give us n, minus a half times negative 3 is going to give us 3 over 2. So from here we know that from our law of indices, this index is multiplying itself with that. The base is the same, so we shall add this power to that power. So this will simply be x to the power 3n plus 1, divide all that by x to the power 2n plus 5 over 2 plus n minus 3 over 2. When we come down here, it's going to become x to the power 3n plus 1, divide all that by x to the power, now we have 2n plus n, that is going to be 3n. So it's going to be x to the power 3n, then we have 5 over 2 minus 3 over 2, that is going to give us 2 over 2. So it's going to be 2 over 2, which is 1, so it's 3n plus 1. So now here we are having x to the power 3n plus 1 over x to the power 3n plus 1. It's the same base, so we subtract the powers according to the law of indices. So this is going to be x to the power 3n plus 1 minus 3n plus 1. So that's going to give us x to the power 0. And we say that any number to the power 0 is always equal to 1. So the answer here is 1. And that's our answer. Let's do the last example. That is Roman 2. It says, according to the question here, this one, y to the power half plus y to the power negative a quarter, divide that by y to the power negative 3 over 4. Let's rewrite the question down here and get started. So it's going to be y to the power a half plus y to the power negative 1 over 4. Divide all that by y to the power negative 3 over 4. This is going to be equal to, let's split this, y to the power a half over y to the power negative 3 over 4 plus y to the power negative a quarter. Divide that by y to the power negative 3 over 4. That is what it means. So now we'll continue. This will be, now these are, we are dividing the indices with the same power, the same base. So we shall maintain here the base and subtract the power. So here it's going to be y to the power a half minus negative 3 over 4. Add that to plus y to the power negative a quarter minus negative 3 over 4. So this will be equal to y to the power, this is going to become a positive because negative negative will become a positive, even here negative negative will become positive. So it's going to be y to the power a half plus 3 quarters plus y to the power negative 1 over 4 plus 3 over 4. When we add the powers, we shall end up with y to the power 5 over 4 plus y to the power a half. And that's the answer. This brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out other excellent videos on the channel and don't forget to subscribe. For Kisembo Academy, this is Arnold Rangakuramia helping you manifest excellence.